You ready?
Showtime.
On May 3rd, summer starts with The Fall Guy.
Let's do it later.
Let's drink a spicy margarita.
Make some bad decisions.
Yes!
Audiences are falling in love with the most entertaining film of the year.
Fall guy.
Fall guy?
Fall guy.
That's what the poster said.
See Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in the movie critics say exists to make you happy.
Trying to make it out?
Nope.
Because I don't either. It's not what I'm into right now.
What are you into?
Talking.
Yeah.
The Fall Guy. Only in theaters May 3rd. Rated PG-13.
WTL.
It's time!
WTL.
I think we got a show. Oh, yeah, we got a show.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Oh, man. Yes, we are, and we're just rolling along in these NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
UFC 301.
Woo-hoo!
If just be half of what 300 was, right?
Yeah,
UFC
just-
300.
They got
My
some good ones
goodness.
at the top of the card, so I can't wait for that either.
And we got to talk about the fastest 2 minutes in sports, the
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby. I mean, I think if you're a sports gambler, whether you know what you're talking about
Yeah,
or not,
it's
you
just
gotta,
a fun day.
You got to talk horses a
You
little
got
bit.
it.
You got to talk
You
the
got
track.
to.
You know, put on your little green cap and
Fierceness.
okay, is that a name we need to know?
You heard it here first.
Okay. We're going to dive into the Kentucky Derby, and it's going to have a lot to do with the names and a couple of sketchy websites that I've been looking at. But other than that, we're going to have fun with it.
No doubt about it.
And then, it's actually been a lot of things going on within the state of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Creighton with the sweep, baseball over the Huskers. That Creighton blue is just the Husker kryptonite.
It's just too much for the Huskers this year.
I
Basketball,
guess.
baseball,
Man.
everything. We still got them in volleyball. So.
Congratulations, Creighton. And I didn't know you could be so petty, but that's all right.
That's how they are.
That's how it is. Hey, win a game.
Yep.
You know,
Win the game.
This is on the Huskers. So Twitter was on fire yesterday or Wednesday, and you know what? Creighton had all the rights to do that.
No doubt.
You know,
and
so
another big win
have
for
fun.
Creighton Blue Jays, Ryan Kalkbrenner,
Yeah,
coming back for
the
another
big
year.
man. Yes.
So, yeah, the Blue Jays are back bigger than ever. So,
I saw his backup king announce he was coming back.
Yeah.
And then about an hour later on Twitter, Kalkbrenner. I'm like, now does he?
yeah, does he go? Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Oh, man. All righty. Well, let's get into the NBA
Yeah.
playoffs. We have a couple fabulous matchups coming up here. We're looking at a Game 6. The Milwaukee Bucks are down 3-2 over to the Indiana Pacers
Yes,
here.
sir.
And this series has really been up and down. I mean, Bucks really took it to the Pacers in Game 1.
Yeah.
But we did have that overtime Game 3.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But then the Bucks kind of stomped the Pacers here in Game 5, 115-92. And then, after the...
Yeah.
So they win like that, right?
Yeah.
A big win at home, I get it.
Yeah.
And then the very next game of the series, they are the underdogs by 8.5 points. What is going on with the NBA?
Well, it's absolutely nuts, Andy, about this whole playoff series. It's been tilted on its head because Giannis is not playing. The Greek Freak is out.
Okay.
He will definitely miss this game. And Damian Lillard is questionable to participate as well. So those are Milwaukee Bucks' two best players.
Yeah.
You know, Giannis being all-world and Damian Lillard being very close behind him. But, yeah, Andy, this is just a crazy one because it seems the only advantage the visitors have in this one is their playoff experience compared to the Pacers' lack of it.
But a lot of that experience isn't playing. I just pulled up the injury report here. You mentioned the top two guys, right?
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo, he's a game time decision, but everyone in the know is saying he's out.
He's out.
Lillard, game time. He's a game time
He's
decision.
game time decision.
Chris Middleton's a game time decision, and so is Patrick Beverly. So the top four players
Right.
are all listed
That's four starters.
as game time decisions.
And that's the reason you see this line spread out to 8.5, Andy. But I just think there's right now the Indiana Pacers have a stronger lineup, like you were just saying, playing in front of their home crowd. Indiana goes nuts for basketball. They'll have the perfect opportunity to capitalize on this, visiting team's injury issues and close out this series. So, moreover, I think they have shown this season that they play excellent at home, and having defeated this team 7 times already this season, and importantly, they have won all 4 games in front of their home fans.
Well, now hold on, Tyrese Halliburton, their leading scorer, leading assist guy. He's listed as a game time decision as well. Do you think that's just kind of for show, or you think he's going to suit up?
No, he'll play. He knows that Indiana is foaming at the mouth for this playoff series win. Like you said,
this is like Tom Brady being on the injury report every week throughout his entire career. In New
LeBron
England.
James every week, every game. Will he play? Won't he play? No, Halliburton's in. But really, the shining light that I have to go to, Andy, is Miles Turner, the big man for the Indiana Pacers, might be considered the team's best player in this series. Apart from doing a good job protecting the rim, Turner is shooting close to 50% from long range, Andy, attempting over 8 3-pointers a game as well. And Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Naismith have also shown that they are valuable contributors off the bench for this Pacers team. So I just like the way that their team is trending while Milwaukee is kind of banged up. I do think their last shot that they could throw in this series was back home in Milwaukee in Game 5. So I really expect the Pacers to come out with a lot of energy here, close this series out, and get a couple days rest before they have to start Series 2.
Yeah, when you listen to a lot of sports talk radio, Nembhard comes up a lot. And he reminds me of kind of like a quarterback because he gets a lot of praise when the Pacers win, and then he gets a lot of shade when they lose. I'm like, well, should it really be all on that guy?
The way it is. When they lose, it's, oh man, TJ McConnell should be playing X amount of minutes over Nembhard. You're like, no, man, this kid is a good basketball player. It's been really fun to watch this team, but I think they get it done today over the Milwaukee Bucks and the series.
Well, with the big 4 for Milwaukee, all being on the shelf are listed as possible game time decisions. We have that total set at 212.5. Do you think that's a good under bet? I know you like to bet over.
That's just the way that it looks, Andy. I would bet the over.
It's been bet down. It's been bet down
no
3.5 points.
Just because the Pacers weren't able to reach 100 points in this last game, I believe that's a little bit of fluffness on them. I think they got down early in the fourth quarter and just kind of gave up on it. I do believe that's going to be a little bit different with the Pacers pushing the pace. And they're going to get enough points to get this over, I believe.
Is that what a pacer is? A person that pushes
no idea.
the pace?
The only thing I know a pacer is Reggie Miller. That's it. He is the logo for the Indiana Pacers.
Giving the choke. You choke New York. Speaking of the Knicks, we got to get to the nightcap.
Let's
also
do it.
on TNT. That's an 8 o'clock Central Time tip. And the Knicks lead the Sixers 3-2 in their series. We are gearing up for what should be a very fun Game 6 here. The last couple of games, the very last one, Game 5, went into overtime. A lot of fun, a lot of fingers pointing at this, that, and everything else. Nick should have fouled that. I mean, I don't know. I think
it's just a good game. It's just a good game of basketball.
Game. A couple plays here and there.
You can Monday morning quarterback every game in the playoffs. But, the stars have really came out in this series, Andy. Jalen Brunson going for 40 multiple times, breaking the New York Knicks record in playoff points in one game, 47 the other night. But, how
about Maxey? He's all of a sudden, he's the first dude, and now you're talking the big man, second fiddle in Philadelphia.
Exactly. He's the point getter, but you cannot overstate what Joel Embiid did in Game 5 with the triple-double. You do not see a 7-footer like that do that on the regular basis.
Give him his flowers, right?
They did a great job as the tandem.
Catches so much flack.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that Philadelphia is, what are they?
3.5 points.
It wouldn't be shocking to see
that line hasn't moved either.
No,
open at 3.5, and
that's
it is
straight
staying
across.
there.
Yep, it wouldn't be shocking to see the Knicks pull off a win in Philly where they won Game 4. There's a decent amount of Knicks crowd in that Philadelphia arena.
There was that night.
Yeah, there was. And the Knicks have also won 6 of 9 against the 76ers. With that said, in past episodes, past things that I've read and thing, even in Game 5 when the 76ers are down 1-3, I still think the 76ers have a chance to win this series, Andy. When Maxey and Embiid are playing at this level, it makes me more comfortable to get behind the 76ers than the New York Knicks.
Well, and people forget, I think the Knicks have just been playing so well down the stretch, you kind of forget that Randall's not there.
Exactly.
I mean, they're missing their big guy, right?
One of their best, if not their best player, their second best player after Brunson.
Brunson stepped up, and he's making a lot of people forget about him. He leads the team in assists, leads the team in scoring, right?
Yeah.
But now you're seeing the emergence of Maxey. And the same can be. He leads the team in scoring. He leads the team in assists.
Yeah.
And then you got Embiid. He's not going anywhere. He had a 50-point game in game 3.
Exactly.
Game 3 just they needed that win
yeah,
too.
To me,
they needed
Embiid is the all hands down trump card in this series, Andy. If Tyrese Maxey plays as well as he can and Jalen Brunson play as well as they can, they're kind of gonna head to head. Knock it out, and then you have the first team all NBA guy Joel Embiid to clean it up. So Brunson has had to work for everything in this series, Andy, and has a lot of question marks as teammates. So will Hart continue to shoot well from deep? Do we really think McBride is going to continue to come up big?
Yeah.
I don't think so, Andy. I love the 76ers at -3.5 in Game 6.
So you don't only like them winning, you like them covering here.
I love them.
You like them covering here.
I love them covering.
What about this total? It's been bet down all the way down to under 200, 198.5.
Yeah, Andy. It just goes to the fact that there has been some dang good defense in this game, especially in Game 4, the Knicks winning 97-92. I do believe it gets over 200, Andy. I don't see anything in this. I mean, in the other thing that people are saying, it just got to 118 in Game 5 and it had to go overtime to get that. This, I believe, is going to have a little different feel to it. The 76ers are back at home. They're feeling good after a win. I believe Maxey is going to be in his bag, and I believe Embiid is going to be there right there to back him up. So, and you know that Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart are all going to be shooting threes. So I love the over. I love it.
Yeah, and Embiid, he is listed as a game time decision, but he's going to play.
He ain't letting down the Philly fans like that.
And he called out the Philly fans. Remember that?
Yep.
He's like, I can't believe there's that much New York orange in our. It was kind of funny. He walked it back, but then he went right back into it and put it on the fans. So now he's got to show it. He put a lot of pressure on himself here.
I mean, that's the Philly way. Like they always say they're the best fans, the most trustworthy fans and stuff.
Yeah.
They got to show it now, and I think that place is going to be rocking. And I believe their two superstars are going to come through for them.
All right, you're betting the home team to cover, and you're going over 198.5.
No doubt.
Well, let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. And we talked a little NBA playoff basketball. And now we got to talk. Hockey talk, right?
Hockey.
We got to get into the playoffs here. Everyone's running for that Stanley Cup. Yeah, first round. And we got a dandy of a series coming up here that we're going to touch on, and that's the Boston Bruins leading the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2. This has been a back and forth series. Really fun Game 5. Went to overtime where the Maple Leafs got the better of the boys in Beantown.
Yep.
And now a lot of folks are saying Game 6 is going to be a reversal of that, where Boston's going to win on the road and the home team is going to lose. Let's see here. I just pulled up the numbers here. It's a straight even -110 bet money line either side. So that's how tight this thing's going to be, with a total set at 5.5 pucks, 5.5 scores.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And that should be a little leading for you, just looking at that line when the game is played in Toronto. If it's an even across the board there, and the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't favored at home, that should send up a little red flag for you. And I'll tell you why. The Bruins won't fear making a trip to Toronto, where they have won 5 straight dating back to the 2022-2023 campaign, including games 3-4 of
Yeah.
this series.
Yep,
So
yep.
much like the Maple Leafs, Andy, the Bruins are far from inferior in enemy rinks. The Bruins are the third best road team in the regular season. I believe that they will end this series in Toronto. So I am going with that Boston Bruins team to pull this out. I do think they have an outside chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah, you're not alone in that assessment. I have heard a lot of chatter going over the Bruins winning it on the road, closing this sucker out.
Yeah.
Even though Maple Leafs just won in Boston, I find that to be kind of curious. But like you said, it's hard to turn a blind eye to Bruins and their success they've had recently in Toronto.
Yeah, it's crazy, Andy. And I think Swayman, the goalkeeper for the Boston Bruins, is the key to the Bruins winning Game 6. On Tuesday, the Maple Leafs triumphed over Swayman for the first time in 8 attempts, Andy. However, Swayman hasn't allowed more than 2 goals against the Maple Leafs in 8 straight games, Andy. So a run of games in which he has goals against average 1.25 dating back to the end of the 2021-2022 season. So this guy really keeps it out of net, and I believe the Bruins will do just enough on the offense to propel them for the win into the next round.
Yeah, and just looking at the injury report, you got a host of Maple Leafs on the day-to-day list here. I think a lot of them are going to play, but then that means they're playing a little bit nicked up more than most, that they're actually on the injury report. Because, this is hockey. You don't even want to talk about your injury.
Nobody's even hurt in hockey. So, no, it's going to be a great game Thursday night and tonight, and I can't wait to watch it. But what we really got to touch on in hockey is the hometown Colorado Avalanche making it to the second round already, taking the series over the Winnipeg Jets 4-1. So go Avs, let's go.
So are you still riding hot on them? They're kind of a surprise team, aren't they?
Yeah, they're third on their side in the Western Conference. They will probably have to play the Dallas Stars, the number 1 seed, in the second round. But in hockey, I just kind of let my fandom take over. I don't look at seeds. So no, I do believe that they will have a puncher's chance against the number 1 seed Dallas Stars. So it'll be fun.
We're gonna be talking UFC 300 here in a little bit. So puncher's chance. Why not?
Let's do it.
Lean into the puns there. It's NHL hockey. Why not?
It is.
All right. Do we need to talk about the Run for the Roses?
Let's do it.
The Kentucky Derby is going to be Saturday here. I got the power rankings pulled up in front of me. Let me see here. So that's May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Coverage starts at 1:30 Central Standard Time on NBC. Post time at 5:57. This is at Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky. It's going to be streaming on Peacock and YouTube TV, Fubo TV as well. There we go. So, if you missed the fastest 2 minutes in sports, that's on you.
Yeah, you only got 2 minutes, so make sure that you're watching because it's over like that.
That's wild that the post time is at 5:57. So if you're thinking 6, it's been over for over a minute, boys.
No, this is awesome, Andy. And what I really want to start with, Andy, is the favorite hasn't won the Kentucky Derby since 2018.
Okay.
So I think it's likely to be Fierceness that breaks this trend. He is sitting there at 5-2, I believe, right now.
Yes,
which is the favorite.
Yep,
and just crazy. The favorite at race time won 6 straight races from 2013 to 2018, but there's been a little bit of a drought ever since then. So I love Fierceness. I love the name.
You gotta love the name.
Yeah.
And then right behind him at 3-1 odds is Sierra Leone, and I get a kick out of just kind of reading some of the stats here up and down the power rankings, and it's like, well, Fierceness is the fastest horse. He can run the fastest, and Sierra Leone runs the second fastest. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense when we're talking about horse racing, that the 2 fastest horses are at the top of the leaderboard and the top of the power rankings.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. With Fierceness, he does look good in what is considered to be a relatively weak field.
Yeah.
What experts say. In 5 career races, Fierceness has won 3, including a huge Florida Derby win, and finished 3rd in another. Fierceness trainer Todd Pletcher has 2 Kentucky Derby wins under his belt. So I believe Fierceness is probably the pick to go. My favorite prop, Andy, that I'm looking at this Kentucky Derby is it's just a small one. It's sitting at plus 120, so it is plus money, but it's still not a huge one. Fierceness or Sierra Leone to win the Kentucky Derby. You get 2 shots at it.
There we go.
So if the big 2 win the Derby, it's at plus 120. So I'm going to throw $100 on that.
Yeah.
See if I can bring home that $120. So I believe it's the best bet out there, especially for plus money.
The odds kind of fall off after those two. Catching Freedom is ranked at 8 to 1. Forever Young is tied for fourth with 10 to 1, and Just a Touch. These names are fantastic. Is also at 10 to 1. I kind of want to talk about some contenders, maybe not necessarily long shots, but I'd call them contenders. And I'm looking at a horse by the name of Resilience. He has won 2 of his last 3 races. And on top of that, his trainer, William Mott, is a Kentucky Derby champion. And he's not just a Kentucky Derby champion. He just won in 2019 with Country House. I think there's so many things going for Resilience there. And at 20 to 1, I mean, that's worth a sprinkle. That's worth a look, isn't it?
Yeah, just throw a little bit on there at least. No,
and he's a winner. He won 2 of his last 3 races.
Anytime you can get some really, really good odds on something, sprinkle it. Don't go crazy on it. But yeah, that's what this day is made for. The Kentucky Derby. Throw a little bit of money to win a lot of money.
Yeah, and you always know the guys that do win because they make the loudest woohoo, and they're running to the payout.
They're running to the window, Andy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Fastest 2 minutes. I can't wait for it.
Are there any long shots you're looking at?
Yeah, I think the only other horse with shorter than 10 to 1 odds that I'm looking at is the one Catching Freedom at 8 to 1. So that is probably my. That's the only one that I'm reaching for, would be Catching Freedom.
I thought you were going to do an ode to the Husker great coach, Tom Osborne, as T.O. T.O. password is a 30 to 1.
Yep.
He's bringing up the rear there. And then Epic Ride. People are talking about Epic Ride. He's a fill-in horse, and so his odds might even go down further. So when you're talking true, horse racing gamblers, they like the long shots. Epic Ride is going to be probably the longest of the long shots. As a late fill-in here to fill out. I think that, what is that, the 13th stall there, whatever it is.
13.
At the Kentucky Derby.
No, it's so much fun, Andy. Like we said, there's a whole bunch of 50 to 1 odds. You got Grand Mo the First, Society Man, and Epic Ride all at 50 to 1 odds in West Saratoga. So, no, you can definitely throw a little bit of money on that, but don't get surprised when it's those favorites that come across first.
Yeah, I'll just go back to the power rankings, and they mentioned right off the bat, well, the fastest horse in this race is Fierceness, and the second fastest is Sierra Leone. So
seems like a pretty good bet, Andy.
I like that.
I do too.
Either one of those, your best bet is plus 120. One of those two will win.
For the big two. Yep.
Okay.
Sierra Leone and Fierceness. I believe you can't go wrong. Have 2 chances at it and still have plus money on it. So I love that bet.
I do too. And as far as long shots go, I like the 20 to 1 with Resilience.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. And, in honor of UFC 301, got the old pickle fight here. The spicy pickle
that
fight.
Is good stuff.
At that. Pickle fight returns with a KO. This spicy variant was made for the bold, bringing a healthy amount of spice, and it is.
It's a pickle punch.
To your throat.
It's
a throat punch, for sure.
I love it.
Hey, and if it's a perfect beer for the Kentucky Derby, right? Have a little Bloody Mary action there.
Yeah, it's a perfect beer for Bloody Mary. Probably the best one in existence. I love the pickle fight, and the spicy just adds that little bit more zing to it.
A little zip.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite beers at Nebraska Brewing Company.
That'll get you going. World class in every glass. The Nebraska Brewing Company. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the parlay pounder.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. Now we're getting back into the NBA playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a couple games coming up your way here on Friday and Saturday evening. And a couple of teams that are in the playoffs.
Yep.
It's just that you haven't really had a chance to see them or watch them unless you have one of those extra subscriptions.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Friday night matchup of the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Orlando to take on the This has actually been a very fun series. Cleveland leads 3-2, but now we're going back to Orlando where the Magic are a 3.5-point favorite. You got that total at just a half point under 200 at 199.5.
Yeah, Andy. Going back to Disney World, this series has been up and down, like you just said, but remarkably, I think it has produced some of the best basketball and exciting moments in the round one of the NBA playoffs. The big man for the Cleveland Cavaliers may return, Jared Allen, which could give the Cavaliers a boost, but the Magic have blown out the Cavaliers twice at home.
Yeah. 121-83, right?
Yes.
Game 3.
And then they almost stole Game 5 on the road. I think, Andy, and I said this at the start of the playoffs, I believe the Magic can still win this series. Look for the Magic to continue to feed off the energy of the Orlando faithful, find a way to cover the spread while sending the series back to Cleveland for Game 7.
Oh, there we go. So you like the home team covering this thing, and it has been bet down just a point.
No doubt.
I think it opened up. Well, actually, I got that backwards. I think it opened up at 3.5, and now it's been bet up to 4.5. So Orlando's catching some love. So I think you have some other folks that are thinking in lockstep with the way your thought process is going here. Banchero has been playing fantastic, but so has Mitchell. Right away, you call him Spider-Man.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
Spider averaging 27 points per game.
doubt.
Looking really good. Jared Allen's probably going to be the key, though. Is he going to be
Is he
deemed
gonna
up?
play?
He's listed as a game-time decision.
Yeah, exactly, Andy. And that really is the key factor to this. But I really love the Magic at home. Like you said, Banchero's been playing good. Especially at home. But what we said at the start of this when we previewed this a couple weeks ago, or just last week when we talked about playoff matchups, is Donovan Mitchell is the best player in this series.
Right.
But I believe Orlando does have the better team. Franz Wagner is shooting 65% at home, Andy.
Who's this guy?
Franz Wagner.
Wagner.
And he's only shooting 34.8% on the road.
Oh,
so
geez.
if this trend continues at least for one game, I think he's going to keep the Magic alive and Banchero bounce back, like you said. So I really like Orlando here. They will cover if they can springboard themselves to an early lead and shoot the ball well while feeding off the energy of that crowd, like I said. Then they need to defend the ball well and not let the Cavs get easy buckets especially for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, for as competitive as this series has been, it does feel like the Orlando Magic's wins have been more impressive than the Cavaliers wins. Cavaliers won game 1, 97-83 at home, and then they won another one by 10 points, but then that blowout in game 3, 121-83.
And then another blowout.
112-89. And then the Cavaliers did defend home court, but only snuck by.
It was a great game at the end of game 5. Back and forth. I really do believe the Magic have it in their mind now that they can beat this team and force this Game 7 back to Cleveland. So giving the Magic to cover that 4.5 at home Friday night.
Hard to go against that. And Cavaliers won 104-103 at home by the skin of their teeth in Game 5, looking for Magic to bounce back at home, which they've traditionally have done this season.
And I'm going over too, Andy. 199.5. A lot of these playoffs lines are getting bet down under 200 points, and I get it looking at the track record. Like you said, Magic 83, Cavaliers 97, Magic 86, Cavaliers 96. They're picking up points as the series goes on. They're making adjustments on offense to score more points. It's getting over 200. Take that to the bank.
You like the over 200? Yeah, more games have been under than over that thus far. But it does feel like maybe that offense is starting to click a little bit.
No doubt.
They're starting to figure things out. All right. Should we move on to a game 1?
Let's do
Saturday.
The game 1 of game 1s.
Congratulations, first off, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? For the first time in forever? They have advanced in the playoffs. Cat was looking good. Ant-Man Anthony Edwards was fantastic. Rudy Gobert did his thing.
No doubt.
I mentioned it last week, that pick and roll between Michael Conley Jr. and Gobert was just devastating.
No doubt. 2
impressive opening series for the Wolves, taking care of the Phoenix Suns, and then the Nuggets kind of taking it to the LA Lakers.
No doubt, Andy. It pains me to say this. LeBron's out of the playoffs in the first round. They put up a couple valiant fights, but really just the stretch play between Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, especially Murray, putting down those 2-game winners. The Lakers did really fight, and
they did.
They
tried.
It just
tried.
was too much. The 39-year-old couldn't beat the 2 young pups, so it was a fun series to watch, even though it kind of took care of them, but it was still a lot of fun to watch, and looks like the Nuggets are definitely the team to beat.
Yeah, I mean, even that final game was only a 2-point victory there.
Yeah, no.
108 to 106 could have went either way there.
Great to see it.
Yeah, but you got to feel like Denver's going to be playing with a lot of confidence.
No doubt.
Taking out the Lakers in that fashion, dramatic fashion for a couple of games. And you mentioned the young pups. Well, I think Minnesota is still kind of considered the young pups
no
here.
doubt.
Even though they got some veterans.
Now I
get it.
Now they are up against a team that they have considerable amount of playoff experience over, obviously. And I think, Andy, what's really crazy about this game, if this game 1 were on Wednesday or Thursday night, this prediction might have been a little different. But Jamal Murray getting 4 full days of rest on his strained calf will be a massive boost for the Denver Nuggets. The matchup in the series that I am ready to watch, Andy, is the multi-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, defending Nikola Jokic, the MVP, the Joker. Another one to look for is Aaron Gordon will battle against three-point sniper and stretch for Karl Anthony Towns, Andy.
Yeah.
At the same time, Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray will likely see a lot of different defenders. They're going to be throwing people at those guys. So, like I said, I think the key matchup in big advantage early is for Nikola Jokic' ability to stretch the floor, pull Rudy out of the paint, and the T-Wolves might. I think that's going to be a big one for them in game 1 to figure out how to manage that. So I really like the Nuggets. I like them to cover in game 1. Kind of a feeler out game for Timberwolves, how they want to play this in the playoffs.
Yeah, and this has been bet down. Not a lot of movement on this point spread, but it opened up with Denver being your home favorite at minus 5.5 point favorite. Now they're a 4.5 point favorite, and that does feel like something they could do.
No doubt.
At home, even against LA, they're able to cover when they had that point spread. Although we did see a couple close games there.
No doubt.
Gobert is just so much your traditional post player. He likes to stay around the rim. He likes to protect the rim. You can't do that against Nikola, the Joker. You just cannot do that. And I think that's going to play huge in this series where he's going to be able to pull him out away from the rim, and then that's going to open everything up. And you talk about Murray getting rest.
Yeah.
I say this every game we talk about Denver. It's just a tough matchup. It doesn't matter if it's the Lakers, it's the Timberwolves. Denver's a tough matchup.
Denver's just a tough draw. But I believe that the Timberwolves can win this series. They
got some length. They have length.
They got length. They got a whole bunch of pieces. And I wasn't just saying that it's going to be hard for them to figure out how to guard Jokic. It's also going to be hard for Denver to figure out how to stretch that floor with Karl Anthony Towns while keeping the Joker in the paint. So with Rudy. And Anthony Edwards looks like he is all world right now.
Yeah,
he feels like he's playing with the most confidence in the NBA playoffs.
Hey, he's just talking smack to KD all series.
Exactly, and that's his favorite player of all time. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for this series. I do believe the Minnesota Timberwolves have a very good chance of winning this series, just not game 1.
Yeah, and game 1, according to ESPN Analytics matchup predictor, the Nuggets have a 61.7% chance to win this opening game in Denver. I mean, it is in Denver. Come on.
It's in Denver. They're going to pack the house, especially against a young team, a flashy team with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think the Denver Nuggets are going to be ready to go.
It's still called the Pepsi Center?
I believe it's the Pepsi Center.
Pepsi Center is going to be a buzzing. What about that total? You're looking at 207.5.
Yeah, Andy. I just believe that these teams are going to try and light it up in game 1. So I do believe the over is the play, especially with the dynamic scoring with the Timberwolves and the way that the Nuggets have been able to finish games. Even if it's close, at the end, I believe Denver will have enough to push that point total over, even if they start the fourth quarter down. You saw with the Lakers in 3 games, they were losing at halftime and just were able to pick up the points in the second half. So I really love the over here, Andy.
Look at these point totals for the Timberwolves. Their last 3 games here, 122 points, 126 points, 105 points. Oh, and then throw in game 2 against Phoenix, 120 points.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying Denver's going to be playing a little bit better defense than Phoenix, but you're just talking about piling on
You're
like
talking
that.
about piling it on.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
with the Nuggets able to score as well, Andy. I do have a parlay play, Andy, for this game.
Ooh, here we
It's
go.
the all-joker parlay play, Andy.
I like it.
I got
I
Nikola
already like
Jokic over 27.5 points. I got Nikola Jokic over 9.5 assists. And then I got Nikola Jokic over 12.5 rebounds. We are going for the triple-double, Andy. I am putting 25 on this to win 123.
That's hilarious because that's just his season average. He averages 26.5 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, and 9 assists. All you're asking him to do is just have his
Just
usual
have
game.
a normal game, Joker.
Your normal
Just
game
a
at
normal
home.
triple-double is all.
And 4 days rest.
In 4 days rest.
I do like
I believe
that.
he's going to be ready. I believe the Nuggets are going to be ready. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But triple-double for the Joker.
I usually like to give
Get
you
it.
a little bit of static over your parlays, but when you're talking Jokic, I really can't do it. And you're just talking about him hitting his average.
Just season average, baby.
Give me that
Let's go.
three-legger. Give me
Let's
that
go,
three-legger.
Joker.
Game 1. Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.
T-L.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
No, that's not how you uphold the law.
T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir. We're back. And I gave a parlay play out last segment.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do it again, Andy.
You have to.
You have to.
Not only are you the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
This is UFC 301 coming at you from Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, sir.
Brazil, and I think I just counted up. We have a Brazilians on the card.
Yeah.
No, but each and every single
Every fight. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean that's how UFC does it.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun. Just like when we had in England not too long ago on a fight night.
They got them all.
They got
Line them up. Make the hometown crowd
Yep.
love it, and make that energy just rise to the top. And the people are going to buy the pay-per-view no matter
Right.
what.
Oh yeah.
This is the UFC,
Yep.
and it has a championship fight on it. So
It does. A belt's on the line. We're going to get to that one. Pantoja. He's been talking a lot lately,
No
and
doubt.
we'll see if front of his mouth is going to catch up to him. But first, we got to talk about our hometown hero.
Yes, sir.
Our favorite young man, not so young anymore, Lionheart.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith, 37-19, 56 total MMA fights to his name, but he is coming off a loss, and he's taking on a young buck here in Victor Petrino,
Yep.
who's a heavy favorite. I'm looking at a minus 410, this Brazilian.
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. One guy might be climbing up the ranks, the other
Yeah.
guy's going down. Anthony Smith has been so good for the UFC for so long.
Yeah.
It almost feels like this light heavyweight bout, he's just kind of being served up there as a win for the home team in Brazil.
no matter what, Anthony Smith is willing to fight anybody at any time.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
and he's still a name. That's why Dana or the people at UFC who's a light heavyweight that will travel down to Brazil
Yeah.
and have the odds against them.
had
And
a-
that's always Lionheart.
We had a banger at 299, a banger at UFC 300.
Yeah.
We need something here for
We
301.
need something. We need something. So, yeah, Smith makes the long trip to Brazil, and he faces Petrino, like you said, finds himself as one of the biggest underdogs on the card.
Yeah.
The 35-year-old former heavyweight champion
Yep.
hasn't beat anyone not named Ryan Spahn since late 2021.
Yeah.
His 2 wins over Spahn are surrounded by losses to Ankalaev, Johnny Walker, and Khalil Roundtree Jr. The Ankalaev and Roundtree losses came via TKO. Petrino is 11-0 in mixed martial arts and is almost 10 years younger than Smith. He has finished half of those 6 fights, 4 of them in the first round, Andy, by TKO. this could make for a rough night for Lionheart. So I have to go with Petrino on this one, and I will be adding something in my parlay with him at the end of this segment.
Yeah, Petrino even has the reach. Got some 77.5 to 76.
Yeah.
So an inch and a half difference there. But stranger things have happened.
But I will be pulling for Lionheart in my heart, but my mind on the betting wise, it has to go towards Mr. Victor Petrino.
Yeah, and you got to look at the 10 years difference there.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And the 11-0 record.
Yep.
All right, well, talking about serving them up and having a lot of fun with it here. Jose Aldo.
He's back.
He's back. He's come out of retirement. He is the underdog to, once again, a young buck here and the number 12th ranked contender in the bantamweight. That is Jonathan Martinez from the United States. Martinez is only a minus 160 favorite to Jose Aldo at a plus 135. I know Aldo's going to collect a lot of tickets here.
Yeah.
People betting on him because they know him and he's at home, and it's UFC 301.
Yeah, Andy. You can't just go where we have UFC 301 and not have Jose Aldo be a part of it.
Yeah, I guess not.
That's what they're thinking. Like you said, he's a legend in the sport, probably the best at this weight of all time.
31-8.
Yeah, 31-8. His retirement, which he fought 3 boxing matches while he was out of the UFC. The timing of Aldo's return kind of suspiciously, lines up with UFC's separation from drug testing partner USDA.
Oh yeah, that was something. Yeah,
I don't want to speculate about the possible connections to that, but either way,
he looks cut.
Either way, he's making his return on home soil against Jonathan Martinez, who's riding a 6-fight winning streak, Andy, dating back to 2021. Martinez has been extremely impressive with a pair of finishes via leg kicks and an upset over said Nurmagomedov. So, among other highlights, Andy. So
he wasn't supposed to win that fight.
No, he was not. Martinez is also 7 years younger and with way fewer fight miles on the odometer, coupled with a long MMA layoff for Aldo. I think it's a pretty bad sign for the Brazilian. Give me that great value on Jonathan Martinez right now, because I only gonna believe that it gets bet up more and more and more. So get on it as fast as you can on Jonathan Martinez. Yeah,
because we might be seeing that early wave of money coming in on Aldo.
No doubt. He's the name.
Starting to fizzle out, and now the smart money's going to rush in on Martinez. But Aldo did stay busy, those 3 boxing matches there. And,
no doubt.
And then we had some restrictions lifted there. But if I'm just looking at their hair, Jonathan Martinez has a head of lettuce on him. Aldo lost his hair a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Just by the looks alone. Give me the guy that's 7 or 8 years younger.
Yeah.
I'm going with the United States guy, Jonathan Martinez, for the win here, and I like that minus 160 we're getting it at right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best line right now, minus 160. You can find it pretty much across all books right now. This one opened close to a pick-em, Andy, and it could get close to Martinez in the neighborhood of minus 220, minus 250 by the time this fight actually goes. So jump on Martinez at this rate. You can get him at now.
All right, should we talk about the title bout?
The title.
Headliner. This is a flyweight with the belt on the line.
Yeah.
Alexandre Pantoja is defending his belt against the Australian here, Steve Erceg, who's a plus 154 underdog compared to the minus 185 Brazilian favorite in Pantoja.
Yeah, the champion is the favorite in UFC 301 main event, but not by much, Andy. I think a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads a little bit when they saw this. Odds makers have the challenger, Erceg, as a slight underdog, seemingly convinced that he can give the Brazilian a tough test in enemy territory. The 27-year-old Kiwi has been given a lot of respect here, even though his best win is knockout over Matt Schnell. So Pantoja, on the other hand, is coming off epic wins against Brandon Royval and Brandon Moreno, 2 of the top guys in the division, Andy. I believe Pantoja is going to beat the sense out of this guy. I do believe I do believe that Pantoja doesn't get the knockout, Andy, but I believe he's just going to beat him up. My best bet for this fight, Andy, is Pantoja Irsay over 3.5 rounds. I just believe he's just going to beat him into the mat, but not get the finish. So getting that,
he has way more experience. 27-5 overall, 12-1 Irsay. Great record, right? Only one loss.
Very good. He wouldn't be getting a title shot if not. But I believe they had to throw somebody in against Pantoja in his Brazilian, homecoming that he can really get a win over. And I believe Irsay is the kind of sacrificial lamb here. But the betting lines are kind of head scratching because Irsay is not
much closer.
Yeah, much closer than a lot of people said. But I love that go over 3.5 rounds at -145. I believe that is a very good bang for your buck. That's my best bet of this fight.
Irsay is 3 inches taller.
Yep.
That doesn't give you any room for pause there. Gas him on the reach and all that stuff.
No way.
Okay.
The Pantoja, I believe he's one of the most durable guys that I've seen. Extremely durable, and he has never been finished in his career.
Wow.
And I believe that's what Irsay will be trying to do, and I don't feel like that's going to happen. So
the KO specialist in Irsay is going to be looking for that, and then it's just not going to be there for him.
Yeah, the Brazilian should be able to avoid the KO, but he also isn't much of a finisher himself. So that's why I love the over 3.5 rounds, because a lot of people will be, thinking championship fight, knockout, all that kind of stuff. I believe it's going to be a really fun fight to watch, but it's going to go over 3.5 rounds.
To your point, Pantoja's career stats, 30% of his bouts he wins by KO or TKO.
Yeah.
Irsay only wins 9% of his fights by KO or TKO. So, that over bet as far as the 3.5 rounds, I think you got to love that bet.
I think it's one of the best in the card, Andy. So definitely wait for the championship match to do that.
All right, Mr. Parlay Pounder.
Yeah.
Let's hear that parlay.
Okay, I'm just doing a 2-teamer, Andy.
Oh, okay.
And they're both plus money bets. I'm going Alexander Pantoja, that we just talked about, to win by decision. That's at a plus 200. And I'm going to pair it with Victor Petrino against Lionheart, like we said in the first one. But to win by KO, TKO, or disqualification, it's at a plus 100, Andy.
Okay.
You put those two together on DraftKings right now, 2-pick parlay at a plus 500, putting 25 on it to win $150.
That's a really nice. That's a nice 2-legger right there.
Yeah.
And you touched on it. I'm gonna remind the folks.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith has lost a lot of fights lately by KO or TKO. So that's kind of a little line there. You had to dig for it a little bit.
You had to dig for it a little bit,
but the value's there.
The value's there, Andy. That's a plus 500 2-teamer. Just two of these things have to happen. So Alexander Pantoja to win by decision and Victor Petrino to win by KO, TKO, or disqualification. I think it's as good as you're going to get on a parlay in UFC 301, and let's take it to the window.
And I get it, let's take it to that pay ticket window, and I get it, they're both plus money bets, but not by much.
Not by much. Plus 100, plus 200, put them together.
There we go.
Plus 500 on DraftKings right now.
All righty, well, hey, that'll about do it for us this week, folks. So be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. Of course, we're on Twitter. Love to put out a little banter back and forth with the guys, short videos. And if you haven't already, please check us out on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're coming out with feature length, full length, and short videos, those YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
Some of those are getting over 1,000 views.
It's a lot of fun, Andy.
Oh my God, we're like getting into that algorithm,
Yeah, we hope so anyways.
I mean, we're talking about Petrino, beating the sense out of some things. We're beating the sense out of YouTube here.
The books.
And and you're holding it down over there on TikTok, aren't you?
Yeah, no doubt. Just follow us on TikTok at WTL Sports Betting. We will come out with plays right before primetime games and primetime fights.
There we go. For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.